Hello and welcome to another video. I'm Maz and today I'm in Gloucester. And in today's video I'll be trying out another Jaguar F-Type P450. This car was kindly lent to me by my friend Stu, and if you are a Jaguar owner of any caliber and you would like a car featured on the channel, feel free to reach out. Now, I've already done a convertible P450 all-wheel drive as well as other various F-Types, so if you want the full review of the Jaguar F-Type, click on the top right hand corner of the screen or in the link in the description down below. So the P450 in the UK more or less replaced the V6, even though the V6 was still available in North America. And those who know that the V6 is basically a V8 with 2 cylinders removed. Now that P450 that I've already driven, again, top right hand corner of the screen or in the link in the description down below, that was a red 75 edition convertible, but this is a rear wheel drive coupe. So in this video I'm more or less seeing if there's a big difference between rear and all-wheel drive. And of course, along with the P450 was the old P300, which is still available with this face, and the SVR powertrain was given to the R version of this car, which I would like to make a video on. Along with the 75 was the ZP edition, basically a final edition of the final edition, and the car finally ceased production on the 21st of May 2024. So here is the front of the P450. Once again, the same as the other P450 that I've driven, but this isn't the 75 edition. So it has the usual Jaguar front emblem in chrome and red, as opposed to all black. This particular car has the Sport Design Pack, so the lower lip is extended. And one thing I like about the Phase 3s, which this is that the grille is all mesh. There is no divider in between. Here's what the headlights look like. And if I unlock the car, the indicators sweep, and then lock the car, once again they sweep just like that. And yes, they still use the old style Jaguar key fob. With the Phase 1 and Phase 2s, there was a distinctive cosmetic difference between the two, where the all-wheel drive will have its vents here and the rear-wheel drive's all the way over there. But here, it is pretty much identical. Coming around, this particular car has black calipers and black tornado wheels with Union Jack valve stem caps and red Jaguar center caps, and the black wheels perfectly complement the black pack which this car has, as seen here with this Phase 3 vent and leaper. Unfortunately, they no longer extend the side skirts like they did on the checkered flag and 400 Sport. Annoyingly, whilst the front and the rear indicators sweep, the side repeaters don't, but of course here's a video on how to swap them. Top right hand corner of the screen or in the link in the description down below. This particular car has the keyless entry, so press this button here and it would unlock, and then once again here to lock. General side profile, the silver does give it a whiff of Aston Martin. This particular car has the standard wing that rises up, so the rear does taper off more or less. And of course the rear wheel arch widens ever so slightly. Coming to the back, being a Phase 3, it has the chicane tail lights, like so. And the cutout for the rear plate goes diagonally as opposed to flowing with the plate. This particular car has the rear facing camera. Being a P450, it has the V8, so it has quad tailpipes. And these Phase 3 cars with black pack come with black emblems, like so. Coming inside, again, pretty much the same as the other P450, but not being a 75 means you get this very nice lozenge stitching on the door card. The 75 unfortunately did not get that. And you get these silver surrounds on the door handle and seat adjusters, as opposed to the interior black pack. The metal pedals are now standard on the Phase 3, and you get these very nice blue illuminated kick plates as opposed to the plain ones on the 75. And Stu also added these Leaper puddle lights, which I've also fitted on my one as well. For that video, click on the top right hand corner of the screen or in the link in the description down below. Now coming inside, surprise surprise, it's pretty much the same as any other Jaguar, albeit with the odd tweaks. So with this interior, I'm just going to point out the key differences to this particular one. So for starters, no heated steering wheel. 9 and 3 are perforated. Rim feels a lot thinner than I remember. This particular car has the metal paddles, which I really like. It's got the digital screen, but I've already said that on other Jaguar videos. Just watch the P450 Convertible video if you want to see more about that. Again, I'm glad this does not have the interior black pack. So this is still silver, this is all silver, and of course the silver extends over there. Because this car has performance seats, lovely Leaper on the headrest, and lozenges around the shoulders. Another difference is this silver surround here for the glove box. And unfortunately no Pivy on this newer car. This trim is somewhat different. They added the Jaguar Coventry symbol here. The best way to find out that this car has heated seats or not is just pushing on these outer dials. If they don't push in, it doesn't have any heated seats. Unfortunately, this car doesn't have a heated front screen either, just a massive button for the rear screen and the generic demister. So that's the exterior and interior done now, so let's see what this car is like to drive. So seatbelts already on, window down, exhaust button on, foot on the brake, and this is actually one of the quieter V8s, but still sounds very, very loud. Give it a few revs. Soft limiter at 4,000 RPM. Into drive. And off we go. So I'm only making this video because I was actually offered to make a video on this car, which I am thankful for. And like I've mentioned, I've already driven a P450 F-Type, but that was a convertible all-wheel drive model. I only wanted to make this video to see if rear-wheel drive makes a major difference. So leaving the industrial estate, the leather on this particular steering wheel feels very, very new. No hold assist on the F-Types. Okay, that is a very big distinctive difference between the rear and the all-wheel drive. Put your foot down and it really scampers off the line. And for the record, this is all in normal mode. There's no dynamic mode activated at the moment. It's just the exhaust, which I might as well turn off for now. And into Eastern Avenue. The metal paddles do feel very nice in this car. But yes, there are other F-Types that I want to film, such as the British Design Edition, the 400 Sport, and potentially the Project 7. But other Jaguars I want to film include the XK. I've already filmed a 4.2, but I also want to try out a 5 litre, as well as the R and RS variants. And it's always nice to drive a Jaguar with a supercharged engine. In fact, I'm thinking about getting a supercharged Jag, potentially. Being the Phase 3, it has this digital screen, which I really like the look of. Generally speaking, it looks exactly the same as lane merged. Generally speaking, it's actually the same as the analog dials, just being in a digital screen, so 2 dials on each side and 1 center information area. But you do have the option to view maps, which is a bonus, and you also have the option to have the sat-nav take over the entire screen, and you also have the option to give the instrument binnacle a more exotic look with having the one rev counter in the middle with the digital readout for the speedo in the middle, and then have the option to have two different info screens on each side. So you can have maps on one side and trip summary on the other. And this particular car even has the auto dipping headlights, so you can just leave it in full blast and then let the car automatically dim when an oncoming car comes. Already at a roundabout. More or less the same as any other F-Type I've driven. The main difference is when I put my foot down, I get the sensation of being pushed along rather than pulled along. Even though I'm driving a 5 litre, it is still going well through this bumpy road section. Nothing new to add really. It's just my usual driving route when filming these videos. Again, nothing to add, so we can pretty much skip this section. There's no warning lights showing. Everything is all perfectly functional. And yet, when the light turns green, this is how the car reacts. Here we are, green light. Put my foot down. It really spins those rear tyres. Luckily, it's perfectly fine when on the move, but from a standstill, that is really gonna wear down those rear tyres very quickly. So there is a benefit of having the all-wheel drive P450 at this end of the market. Obviously, I've driven the V6 rear-wheel drive as well as the 2-litre rear-wheel drive. Those ones don't really need the all-wheel drive most of the time. In fact, the P300 is rear-wheel drive only, but you do get the option of the V6 all-wheel drive, though not with this Phase 3 car. You can only get them Phase 1 or Phase 2. And 5-litre F-Types, I seriously suggest definitely getting the all-wheel drive. They are rear-wheel drive most of the time, but when it senses it needs its power, it will prevent that from happening by sending some of the power to the front wheels as well. So, to me, the all-wheel drive system is the best of both worlds. Rear-wheel drive when you want it, all-wheel drive when you need it. And just to clarify, the exhaust is off, and yet the sound coming through the speakers is very, very much as if the exhaust is on. Of course, it's different from the outside, and yes, this is actually a newer car with a quieter exhaust. Not that it's a big loss, really. And into the city centre, nothing to add pretty much, just really talking about the differences between this and its all-wheel drive counterpart. Luckily this car has the glass roof, so nice and sunny when you want it, dark when you need it. So that's a really good option that this car is fitted with. I mentioned this car does not have the heated steering wheel, though that can be easily retrofitted by LR retrofits. Right turn there, so turn. Jaguar do very good steering. I get the sense that the car is directly linked to the wheels, and the operation is perfectly linear. Obviously I've driven a few Mercedes-Benzes, and unfortunately those cars don't really have a linear steering. It's a bit busy here in the city centre, and it's cleared up a bit now, and floor it. You do get that sensation of being pushed along, even from a rolling start. And I'm sure when it is cold, in fact, it is cold during the time of filming, but not icy cold. When it is icy cold, that may be a bit of a huge problem. So if you do live in very cold climates, like up in Scotland, yeah, you're probably best to leave this for the summer seasons. If you prefer to daily, definitely get the all-wheel drive, whether it's V6 or V8. Obviously V8 only with this Phase 3 car. The stop-start sound is very good in this P450. Sharp left-hander. This car has the performance seats, so it's got the shoulder supports. Nothing to report here. And it's always nice to be sitting in an F-Type. Of course I made all those other F-Type videos, and I haven't really driven many of this car's competitors, so Porsche 911, Mercedes-AMG GT, Aston Martin Vantage. I have driven an Emira, but I would like to try the V6 manual. So if you are a V6 manual Lotus owner, Lotus Emira or Evora actually, and you would like your car featured on the channel, feel free to reach out, or any of those other aforementioned cars. Quick update, I've actually managed to make the car set off of a red light without it spinning its rear wheels. You have to give it about 10% throttle, but coming from a P300 and have driven a plethora of all-wheel drive V8s and a couple of V6s, I guess you can say it's a bit of a culture shock after having driven all these other F-Types. Here I am at a complete stop, and then ever so slightly touch the accelerator, and we're off smoothly. Not a huge learning curve, just a bit of a surprise if you come from either an all-wheel drive P450 or a V6 or a P300. And one last thing to check, see what this rear-wheel drive P450 is like on the open road. So put it into dynamic. Okay, onto the national speed limit now. Get onto lane 2. Dynamic mode is on, dials are red. Kick down is very good. And you do get that pushed sensation into the left lane, turning left on the roundabout. Accelerator definitely feels a lot sharper turning in. Again, that being pushed along sensation is very apparent. Too much traffic, let's drop back a bit. Mid-corner, 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 mid-corner. 3, 2, 1, and... This car easily has enough power for most people, and I'm driving through traffic, so really hard to put my foot down just yet. And of course, just like all those other V8s that I've driven, it sits calmly at around 1500 RPM at 70. So not only is it a very good sports car, it is also a very good GT car. And I can vouch for that because I've driven my P300 all the way from Tetbury to Colchester. On the roundabout, time to do a U-turn. Put the gear selector into sport. I should have done that earlier, mind you. Off we go. Yep, now it's way more leery on this roundabout. And it does feel like if I push it too much, it would spin its backside. And again. Back onto the slip road. And back into traffic. Let's wait for the traffic to calm down. Put it back into its normal mode for now. And I like how the trail of the rev counter is blue in normal mode, but red in dynamic mode. Does it change colour in all-weather mode? It just turns into a lighter blue. Back into maximum attack mode. The traffic has cleared up. Yep, it does feel quite twitchy on the roundabout. Definitely not more twitchier than the all-wheel drive. And into manual mode and go. In manual mode, there's a much louder sound when changing. Anything on pretty much the same with downshifts. It only makes a sound when I really put my foot down and back into traffic. But yes, there is a significant difference between rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. P450 F-Type when it comes to the way they handle. I strongly advise the general public to go for an all-wheel drive P450. Not that they make them anymore, and not that the general public all drive F-Types. Give it one last push here. So let's head back to the car park and finalize this video. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching me try out this rear-wheel drive Jaguar F-Type P450. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you are new, ring the bell to stay up to speed, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.